Cosmic Princess Kaguya, where technology is much more advanced and VR is much more popularized. And yet, what really stands out about this movie is Iroha, Kaguya, and as well as Yacho. But before we get into that, let's start with Iroha. From having an argument with her mother, Iroha is on that grind set with her studies, working part time, and as well as just paying for her own expenses and her rent, meanwhile being a high school student. And it's crazy because you see that Iroha is like very sleep deprived and yet still finding time to enjoy her one hobby, idolizing Yachio, the virtual reality admin and one of the biggest idols in the world, as well as one of her favorite artists in the VR, which is known as Tsukiyomi. And if you can tell from the title Cosmic Princess Kaguya, it's based off the Japanese folklore, the tale of a bamboo cutter, and it's cool because the anime shares a little bit about the history of that story. To see how this all started, you see Iroha just got off school, just ready for her 3-day weekend, and suddenly comes across this utility pole, which is near her house, and it's like glowing, rainbowish, and it's like you see these doors at the pole, and out of nowhere, you just see a baby in it, and you're like, what? You're seeing her like overall taking care of her, even despite trying to report to the police, and like no one would believe her because her hearing herself is like crazy. But seeing that similar to the folklore, you see that Kaguya really like grows really fast. She doesn't really exactly remember like her origin and such, other than the fact that she came from the moon and that she wanted to escape her boring life. Very similar to Iroha, who's like living that same routine of do with her tight schedule with like her with everything that she's doing on top of taking care of Kaguya. And seeing this movie, you see that Kaguya wants a happy ending because referring to her tale of the bamboo cutter, she doesn't really have a happy ending. And seeing Iroha, who has accepted that she doesn't want to have that happy ending because of reality, she just accepts her fate. But Kaguya's like, no, I don't want that. I want to have a happy ending. And she'll just do anything and to make it happen, and somehow becoming a VTuber. That's what's really cool is that introduction to the VR world in this movie because you can see that it's very the landscape is just so beautiful. It being introduced to that world, Ira introducing Kaguya to it, and just really just seeing the whole world just for us to see like how advanced the technology is, how beautiful it is, and just the music that like all is played there. And that's like one of the beauties of this anime film is how it really takes the inspiration to like Vocaloid. And fun fact is like they really play a lot of music from it too. So like it's The World Is Mine is a very famous one that instead they have Yacho Runami who's doing the cover for it, who's actually voiced by Hayami Saori. If anyone watches a lot of anime, they'll have familiarity to that. Now, will Kaguya actually have her happy ending, and will Iroha actually just accept things for how it is? Well, there's an event that's happening in Tsukiyomi, and she notices that Iroha is idolizing Yachio. Kaguya being jealous, she's like, "Oh heck no! I'm gonna do this myself and participate and make Iroha happy myself with that happy ending in mind." And whoever wins is gonna get to collab with Yachio, singing along with her with the grand audience. So that's where the journey is, where you'll get to see like how will she do that. So is this the way that Kaguya is gonna make Iroha happy with this happy ending, or is there more? Don't want to rob you the experience, so I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I just want to talk about that the little bit of the intro before I talk about how I feel about it. Because overall, the movie is just so good. One, also the music is really like fantastic because of well, they do a lot of the covers that we know from Vocaloid, and I bet those that know a lot like heard the song "The World's Mine" before, they probably just feel so much like I don't know nostalgia probably and just excitement for it because how like it's more upbeat and fast paced versus like the original, and also just like how Kaguya is just so adorable with her interactions with Iroha, like how just goofy she is and happy, and also, even despite her pissing off Iroha. Their dynamic chemistry is just really nice to see, and I love how Iroha has taken importance of having a fun time, whether it's playing games or having rest with the vacation, and even at times taking more importance with that than sleep. Remembering Iroha, who's accepted her fate with having a boring ending, uh, it's it's interesting to see those moments with her and Kaguya, where Kaguya is very having having fun with learning how to be a VTuber, being number one, and just having fun with music and all that, and seeing that reflection with her time, like Iroha herself when she was young, playing music, having that same expression of happiness, and seeing her time where she remembers that playing music, she was reminded of her father, where you can see later on that he's no longer alive, and it just that part gets that's like hits too close to home. Having some refreshment to having Kaguya around and having some excitement and fun, it just makes everything so so like bright. But also just seeing how the one also it's just really cool to see like how they show the moon in 8-bit style or somewhat like that, and also intertwining it with like the VR world. It's really cool to see how media takes like inspiration from Princess Kaguya and take it to their own way. Since other anime has like their own interpretations or have their own style of how they want to represent Kaguya. I'm also just super oblivious when it comes to Yuri as well, when it's involved because this anime doesn't really like put it in your face and just a little bit of like science here and there. And what's really fun to see like the fun facts is like the handshake that Iroha and Kaguya has, which is very poetic. With Iroha's avatar being a fox, and then Kaguya having the handshake with Iroha, making or symbolizing fox kissing. And at first, I was like, "Oh, that's cute," and then realizing, "Oh." It is pretty funny that I didn't realize that this was a Yuri like relationship until I saw the website of Yuripedia, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" I didn't even notice until I read this. Also, the fact that the song's just always stuck in my head. The world is mine. And it's cool to see that Roshi has like Alia doesn't show her feelings in Russian. They have done a cover song for that in one of the endings, and it's just really cool. Yacho has her pet Fushi, which Fushi meaning immortal. A lot of cool tiny details that are in this movie. Just want to talk about this because the movie's just amazing. I just know everyone that has watched this, at least in reviews, everyone enjoyed it. And just seeing how like the ending can be a little confusing sometimes, or a little bit to some, at least for me, when it comes to tracking the plot a little bit. But overall, easy to understand. And I'll leave it in the description too if you want to like understand like how the ending is. And I love how there's continuously fan art of Cosmic Princess Kaguya on Twitter too, and I'm just loving it. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you next time.